Deep Space Nine managed to pull off breaking the same broadcast regulation twice, and I still can't believe it. From the mechanics of the transporters and warp drive to Gene Roddenberry's decree that there be no interpersonal strife in Star Trek. The Next Generation. Each Star Trek series has its own unique set of rules that tales typically adhere to. However, Star Trek is bound to a number of essential television principles, including as the 5-act format, as a television show. The existence of the fourth wall, that wholly unseen barrier between the story on television and the audience, is a particularly significant TV guideline, because it deviated from key Star Trek storytelling conventions, such as being based on a space station instead of a starship, and because it took religion seriously. Star Trek. Deep Space Nine was an iconoclastic show in the Star Trek series from the beginning. With each episode, Deep Space Nine broke new ground for Star Trek by presenting serialized stories with darker themes and more interpersonal turmoil. Season 4 of DS9 was the first time I saw a Star Trek character gaze directly at the camera, breaking a lot of the usual TV standards. Although subsequent Star Trek series adhered rather closely to the fourth wall, Deep Space Nine violated it twice throughout its 7-year existence. In Rules of Engagement, Episode 18 of Season 4, directed by LeVar Burton, Deep Space Nine first breaks the fourth wall. Spock, a Klingon lawyer, interrogates the DS9 crew during LT. Commander Worf's hearing Michael Dorn. Before the scene cuts to the actual time they're narrating, every character in the testimony looks straight into the camera to testify on Worf's character. During her final moments as Lieutenant Tasha Yar on Star Trek The Next Generation, Denise Crosby managed to pull off an unplanned fourth wall break in the episode Symbiosis, 22nd episode of the first season. Star Trek. Deep Space Nine's In the Pale Moonlight, Episode 19, is the next one to break the fourth wall. Throughout the opening and closing credits of this legendary episode, we see Avery Brooks's Captain Benjamin Sisko addressing the camera as he keeps a journal. The majority of In the Pale Moonlight consists of flashbacks showing Sisko and Garrick's Andrew Robinson plot to involve the Romulans in the Dominion War. Even though the plot is brilliant on its own, the unconventional structure is what really elevates In the Pale Moonlight to the level of a top episode of Star Trek, Deep Space Nine. Because they serve as tools to enhance the tales being delivered, the fourth wall breaks in Star Trek, Deep Space Nine are so effective. The people that Star Trek, Deep Space Nine portrays looking into the camera as if they were addressing us aren't truly viewers. On the contrary, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine puts the audience right there with the protagonists and antagonists. We take on the role of Spock in Rules of Engagement and listen to the character's confessions. In the Pale Moonlight has us playing the role of the station's computer, which records Sisko's draft log and then deletes it. The fourth wall is seen as a somewhat more flexible regulation in modern television series compared to when Star Trek, Deep Space Nine aired in the 1990s. Doctor Who's Lux from Season 15 recently broke the fourth wall, and characters in mockumentary sitcoms like The Office sometimes gaze directly into the camera with knowing glances. We're accustomed to TV shows bursting the fourth wall to make reality flood over into the show, or to have characters admit, She-Hulk style, that they know what the audience knows. The fourth wall doesn't shatter in DS9 in that way, though. Star Trek. Lower Decks nearly breached the fourth wall with its in-universe references to real-world acronyms like TOS, which truly stands for Those Old Scientists, and episode names, but luckily, the wall remained intact.